I'd like to talk real quick on an option for you guys and gals out there for a higher capacity semi-automatic 9mm. Something that's a little bit more budget price that you can find on the used market. You can't really find this model new anymore, but it's something that I think will do good for you if you just don't have the money to spend on something like this Gen 4 Glock 17 that I have here on the left. Glock Gen 4 Model 17. This right here is what I'm talking about. This is the Taurus PT-24/7 OSS 9mm. Taurus is one of those manufacturers, they don't have the best reputation. They do have some issues with a lot of their firearms. Their customer service and their QC isn't the best that it could be, but they do make a decent amount of workhorse firearms. All said and done, there are some Taurus firearms out there that I honestly can't really recommend too much, but there are some that I can recommend. This is one of them. This is no longer in new manufacture, this current model of 9mm from Taurus. They have the PT-24/7 lineup. The G2s are now on the market. This is an earlier generation. This one is more of a, back in 2005, United States SOCOM put out a request for 45 caliber handguns. They put out a bid for it, and then for some reason I think the bid got canceled. This was Taurus's entry. Originally this was a 45 caliber, and they did make them in 45. I believe they made them in 40, and this one's in 9. So this was Taurus's little answer to that call. It said, here, this is what we got. And it's still used to some effect by military police, civilian police in Brazil, and some military use in Brazil. I don't know how successful it is. There's some conflicting stories on that, and there's a lot of politics. When it comes to firearms and contracts, there's always politics involved. So it's hard to say with any certainty how reliable it's been. You might get stories from both sides of the parties. But anyway, this Taurus handgun was the answer to the call from U.S. Special Operations Command at the time. Taurus's answer, at least. And there are some features on it that I really do like. It's a very well-balanced handgun. I've shot it a little bit. I've done a little bit of research on it. I think this is one of the better-made handguns from the Taurus lineup. There's a lot of handguns, a lot of revolvers out there that Taurus made. Some are good and some are not so good. I think this is one of the good ones. Granted, this is a Taurus gun. I don't expect all of them to be running perfectly. Just like Glock. Glocks, not all Glocks run perfectly. Any manufacturer out there will have issues. I have heard conflicting reports about the customer service from Taurus. I don't think it's the best, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be an automatic horror story if you have to send a gun into Taurus. It's one of those things that, you know, it probably depends on who you talk to on the other end of the phone. And just what type of problem you have, and you just have to go from there on a case by case. So it's hard to say. I do know that some customer service, when I dealt with firearms, working in the firearms sales industry for a short amount of time, I do think some of the other firearms manufacturers out there like Glock, Smith & Wesson, and a few others did have better customer service than Taurus did. And that's just for different reasons. I can go into a whole other video talking about customer service and such and different firearms manufacturers. But anyway, this particular gun I think is a win from Taurus, and it's really inexpensive. You can find this gun, if you can find it for about $300. And what you're getting for $300 is a very solid single action, double action, striker fired 9mm, 17 round capacity, 5.25 inch barrel. And it does have a rail to accept lights, lasers, what have you, whatever you want to throw on the thing. The some of the features, I'll kind of pick it up and show you closer up here. Some of the features, again, 17 round magazine, standard magazine release right here. It's well molded into the polymer grip here. It's molded, you can still actuate it, but there's no sharp edges. There's no sharp edges, it's rounded, very nice, so I like that. Does have a safety much like a 1911 manual thumb operated safety. I like that. The added plus for this safety is up is safe, push up a little bit more, I just decocked the gun. So now I could store this if I wanted to, load the magazine, rack it, decock the gun, take the safety off, and now I'm in a double action only type deal here. Double action first round anyway. The double action pull is very, very nice for a gun. I'm used to a lot of heavy stacking on a double action, but here it is. Here's the take up and a double action pull. There I am right up against the sear. Then it releases. Very nice and smooth. I'm actually pretty impressed. The single action pull on this thing is what I really like about this gun, and I actually had to get used to it because I'm used to the Smith & Wesson Shield, the M&P 40, and the Glock. Those guns on a single action, or just on, you know, there's really no double or single action on a typical striker fired. Their trigger is right about there. Then it's up against the sear, and then bang, the gun goes off. You can see here, this is my take up. There's the sear. Bang, there the gun goes off. And then look at this reset. That is a beautiful reset. I really do like the reset on this gun. I think that's a very, very, very nice point to these old PT-24-7s. The polymer construction is well made. I looked at the internals. The internals seem to be well made. I know there have been issues with peening reported on guns of this type. I've only seen a few issues. I think it's something that you shouldn't have to worry about, especially on the used market. It just comes down to inspection of the firearm. I don't think enough people do that when they're buying a firearm, especially a used one, is taking it apart and actually demanding to inspect it. Any firearms dealer should let you do that. If you don't know how to take the gun apart yourself, the person behind the counter should know how to take the gun apart, and they should be able to disassemble it for you. You can take a light, you can really take your time. That's your right as a buyer to make sure you're buying something that's safe. You got to remember, bottom line is firearms is a bunch of controlled explosions. Every time you touch that trigger off, it's a controlled explosion right in front of your face. So you want to make sure the quality of the metal, there's no cracks, any of that. You want to inspect it. So I think as long as you inspect it well, you give it a good once over like you should, you shouldn't have any issues. If you see a gun that you're buying used, and it's not just a Taurus, any gun, if you see a gun that you're buying used and there's cracks or anything, put it down, tell them, hey, there's a crack, show it to them, and just say, hey man, this gun ain't fit for sale, I'm not going to buy it. And then you can determine whether or not you're going to go back to that particular gun store on the action that they do next. If they take the gun and say, yep, it's broken, we can't sell it, great. Good deal, thumbs up for the gun store. If they say, oh, well, yeah, and you see them put it back together and put it back into the case, never go back to that gun store. I'll tell you that right now. Leave, I don't care what kind of cool guns they have, leave, never look back. And make sure to tell all your friends that they're selling defective firearms. But anyway, that's a totally different subject. The action on the Taurus, it's a little bit... it has a little bit more finesse than a Glock. I like the Glock action. I like the Smith & Wesson M&P action. This Taurus actually, for what you pay for, I mean, I'm talking a $300 gun. You can find these for less. I don't think you're going to get a better deal as far as the action. The single action is awesome on this gun. I really love the single action on the Taurus OSS. The 5.25 inch barrel, that's something you're not going to see a lot of for that price. When I'm talking a double stack 15 round capacity, when you're talking $300, possibly even down to $250 to $280, because you can find those deals. And if you can find one of these, if you see one of these that's in good working condition and it's like $250, jump on it. The sights, they're dovetailed in, so you can replace the sights, and there are options out there to put different sights on. The rail can accept any common flashlights, lasers. The takedown of the Taurus is really simple, just like any other striker fired gun. It's really simple, breaks down to about 3 different pieces, really accessible for cleaning and such. Some of the other features I do like on this Taurus is the fact you have a tactile indicator here to show that the gun's loaded. This will stick out on the top of your extractor here. There's going to be a little bar that sticks out so you can run your finger up like so, and you'll be able to tell it's loaded. This right here, this shows that the striker is cocked in the cock position. And there's cocked, and you can see how it recesses in when the striker isn't cocked. And there it is again. The sights, this particular one's got Novak 3-dot sights. They're okay. I'm not complaining too much. I'm not a real big fan of this profile, but again, these are dovetailed in. You can get replacement sights for these. You can throw night sights on, what have you. The safety is ambidextrous. It's a decocker as well. The Taurus does have, if you want to put a dum-dum cord on here, what I'm talking about, dum-dum cords, in case you don't know, is this, lanyards. Dum-dum cords, we call them dum-dum cords in the military, just attaches to the right here on the gun. So that way, the gun, even though you draw it from the holster, this attaches to your belt or what have you, your tack vest, and it's a means to keep the gun secured to your body even though you've drawn it from the holster. So it doesn't affect reloads, doesn't affect shooting. It's just if for some reason you draw it and drop it or something happens, the gun is still connected to you. You don't lose the firearm. So, again, we used to call them dum-dum cords in the military. The grooves on your grip are good, are well made. I like them. I put them right on par with the Glocks. The one thing some people may not like is the finger grooves. Some people like finger grooves, some people don't. I like them. My hands seem to fit the finger grooves, just like on the Glocks. My hands seem to really fit the finger grooves, so I get along with the finger grooves. If it's not your thing, then you may want to just feel this gun out real well before you think about buying it. The grip is relatively small, so it's a little bit smaller than even the Gen 4 grip. So it's great for females out there or people that have smaller sized hands. You can still wrap your gun around, get full contact with the gun. Very low recoil. It is a little bit top heavy. A Glock is a very, very balanced gun. A Glock, the Smith & the M&Ps, they're very balanced. When you load them up, they're very balanced in your hand. This, even with a full magazine, it's a little bit front heavy, a little bit top heavy. But it's not to the point where I think it's too much of an issue. Recoil is very, very controllable, very, very light. Granted, it's a 9mm, they don't recoil much anyway. But again, it's extremely light. Very easy to stay on target, very easy to put rapid shots on target. I really like that. One thing that I do note about this Taurus OSS, and a lot of the female viewers out there, somebody that might have issues with wrist strength, hand strength, the slide is extremely easy to work. Even with the striker in the forward position, it's really easy to rack the slide. Either overhand, like so, coming forward, racking. It's very, very, very easy. I do like that. My wife also likes that. Not everybody likes a slide that's hard to operate. And I think, again, if you're handicapped, if you have some type of disability, surgery, you're older, or you just don't have a lot of strength, I think this is a plus. So, check them out. If you see one at your pawn shop, see one at your gun store, go ahead and give it a feel. Give it a good once over. Taurus, again, Taurus isn't the best firearms company out there when it comes to some of their models, but I do think they hit a home run with the OSS model. As far as looks, it looks okay. It's not the best looking gun out there. As far as meanness, I like the Glock look better. I like the M&P look better. HK looks a little bit better. But for something like this Taurus, I view it as a workhorse. Something that you get a good one, I think it's going to run for you. It's going to work for you. It will be something great for home defense or field use. Throw a light on it. Right now, this Taurus, one of the things I'm going to do, this is going to become a home defense gun. I want to put some more rounds through it, do some more stuff to really make sure it's working good, but so far it's doing just great. My wife really likes it, so she's probably going to use this as a home defense piece. I think it'll fit the bill perfect. But in any case, it's a great gun to check out. Just do the research yourself and feel it out yourself. You're going to get two different types of people on the internet. When you look at Taurus reviews, you're going to have some people that say, oh, Tauruses are great, their workhorse guns are awesome. Some are going to say, man, don't buy a Taurus. Friends don't let friends get Tauruses. I don't know if you ever heard that saying. I've heard it a lot in the sales industry. It's one of those things. Look at the gun, look at the history of that particular model. Just like the PT-92. The PT-92 is a home run for Taurus. I used to shoot PT-92s a lot growing up. Great 9mm. Based off the Beretta platform, great 9mm. Man, I've really been debating on getting another one just because I used to have one. And it's been so long since I've had a PT-92, I'm thinking, man, just for old time's sake, I might go buy one, take it out and shoot it, just to bring back some memories. But anyway, look at the gun itself, do your research, look at different points when you do research. A lot of people, when they do research, they just go to one forum, or they look at a few things and go, well, they say it sucks, so it must suck. Well, you got to remember, every argument has two sides. So you have to be subjective. You got to look at both sides of the argument and then make your own decision based off of what you've read. Be careful when you ask guys at the gun counter what their opinions are, because a lot of them are salesmen and a lot of them are not as smart as they should be on firearms. In fact, some of the things I've heard some counter people say just makes me want to facepalm myself right in the store. You know, again, just do your own research, make sure you get the most facts you can and make your own educated decision. So anyway, that's about all I got to say about the Taurus. It's a great budget option. I hope I didn't ramble on too much in this video. I didn't go over the technical specs too much because there's different avenues to find the technical specs. And I may do that in a different video when I go over a little bit more about this Taurus. But I hope that you got a little bit of knowledge from it. If you didn't, then, you know, my apologies for wasting just about 17 minutes of your life. Alright, thanks a lot for watching. I've talked enough. Check it out. Check out my latest videos. I did a couple shooting videos with this Taurus, just some simple 7-yard shooting videos to kind of show the accuracy of the gun. It is accurate. It's good stuff. So check it out. It's something I think that's useful for the folks out there that really can't afford any of the more high dollar stuff that's out there. Alright, you guys have yourself a good one and stay safe.